Hello guys. I started a bit later than I wanted to today, but at this point, it happens very often. I feel like I'm starting to sound like a broken record. I'm always delayed, or something else happened and I couldn't start early. Whatever, man. Whatever. Something always delays me. I will also say the heat is not helping. It is very warm, and I don't actually feel like streaming that much because I don't want to wear a headset at all. I just kind of sit with my speakers, or I go outside to do something else. But I am kind of having that. I obviously want to play Smite too, but I also feel that a slight obligation for the people that do want to watch me stream to at least stream sometimes. And there's also the big elephant in the room. My internet might fuck up. There was no issues yesterday, so that's good. But my internet is apparently not great at the moment. It can just suddenly say fuck you, and I'm not gonna work for a while. Hopefully that won't work, or that won't do. Hopefully that won't happen. But if it does, now you know. And if it does happen, I won't turn the stream back on either, because if it happens, it might be down for a while. Excuse me. My counter is bugged.
Be careful, middle!
Quiet.
Sorry. Minions have spawned.
If internet crashes, blame the dog. Well, now I can't, because now it's something else. I already ordered a new router. Hopefully it's my router. Could be something else, you never know. That is not the target I was going for, but whatever. That's a little awkward. Might miss a creep I shouldn't have missed now. I did indeed. Sad. At least he also missed it, so...
Finally.
Alright, that's very good. I'm glad he hit me as well, because then he would get smacked by the creeps. That's a very good start for me in this matchup. Alright, Bengus, enjoy. Have a nice day, man. Thank you for stopping by.
An enemy has been slain. Retreat! Attack middle lane. An ally has been slain. Scent of blood! Attack brightly!
You
Finally subsides.
Jack's here, and he is the jungler. No!
Fame and glory! An enemy has been slain.
No! I wanted the Chuck and still get out. Great! Also, everything reset. Holy shit. I can't wait for the next patch just so everything doesn't reset. because this is so annoying. I have reached my limit of how many times I want to redo my settings. I've done these settings like 50 to 100 times. I'll try to be back soon. Yeah, no worries. No worries. I'll be streaming for like 3 hours or so. So yeah, I'll be here for a little while. Oh, he's running up. You sure you want to run up? I missed my auto because of the creeps. And this man... Okay. I don't know if I think that's worth it, but I'll invade. And Chuck seems to be in right, so... Okay. Damn, they did rip off much later.
Your middle tower is under attack. Nice job.
Toa. Dude, what is he even here? Toa, stop! Sometimes he hears something and starts barking more than usual. I'm like, what are you even hearing? I know I have a headset on, but usually I can hear stuff. What are you hearing, dog? Just people yelling outside, man. They do that all the time. Why is this any different? Toa. I don't want to hear it. Toa. Stop. Yeah. Stop. Yes. Brutalize does so much damage now.
Finally subsides.
Let's pull Mordred. What? Excuse me. Brutalize. Red buff is still not up. I should probably invade the next one.
An ally has been slain.
Duo not looking too hot, but I think with mid and solo we're pretty much secured.
Your left tower is under attack.
No back cams for me either. No, didn't get in front in time.
Scent of blood.
He does have beats. I didn't actually even know which active he had.
No problem.
Slain an enemy. Death. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. No match. Your agony fuels me. The pain finally.
No problem.
An enemy has been slain.
Lean from jewels, popping up when I needed them. Let's grab a shifters as well now.
Be right back.
I did end up missing out on the red though, unfortunately. I was stuck around for that red for a while. When I could have just backed for my berserkers. I really want that red buff. No red for me though.
Be careful, right way.
Okay.
An enemy has been slain. And missing left.
I'll gank right lane.
Your left tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
You and
Attack right lane. Your left tower
Cancel
is under
left.
attack.
He probably has him, I would imagine.
An enemy has
Yeah.
been slain.
attack the gold fury.
Yes. Your left tower is under attack.
Okay.
Your left tower is under attack. Your team has destroyed the gold fury. I'll gank right lane.
You and like.
We gotta fight this or what? Huh? Oh, the damn! That's unfortunate. He hit the Neath with the AoE auto and it just splash damage to me. Oof, not worth.
Your team has destroyed the left enemy tower. An enemy has been slain.
Behind us.
I got a little greedy. I took too much damage before I initiated on them.
By the light, be purged.
That was a good backflip.
Your right tower is under attack.
What about more lifesteal? I heard some people that for some people the Reaper is pretty good on Fenrir. Stop double pressing. Damn it. That makes sense actually, yeah.
Has been slain. Your
I can see it working on Fenrir.
under attack.
I'll try it. It's not like I have anything to lose. And more lifesteal and brutalize is very welcome, I guess.
Enemy missing left. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Chumei seems to not be bad, so I might need to focus her down more if I can. I need to catch up. Finally, I'm getting a red buff. Clean. A bit of an awkward fight for me, I would say. I was body blocked in my ult. It's a bit awkward.
Be careful, middle. My way. An ally has been slain.
Can I maybe get tower here? No, I cannot, but I can poke.
Your left tower has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain. Boys, attack middle tower. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower. Attack middle tower. It's under attack.
We're just getting Phoenix for this, so it should work out.
Attack fire giant. Retreat. Attack fire giant. Cancel that.
See if I can get more. Probably need some kind of magic protection. Do I get Shroom? Could do Shroom. Maybe only Hunters, actually.
Has been slain. Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury. Nice job.
I don't really know how good Only Hunters is, to be honest. It's not an item I've seen much bought on anyone, really.
Your right tower is under attack. I'll gank right lane.
I guess I'll TP over actually. Should have not wasted my jump though. Now I gotta run back. Run all the way around.
An ally has been slain. Gank.
On my way.
Damn it. Couldn't see where he went. I can chase him though.
Attack right lane.
Cancel that. I'll gain.
Attack right lane.
No, I missed jump as well.
On my way. An enemy has been slain.
That was so sloppy. Should not miss my jump. Brutalize, I was just out of range.
Beginning.
On my way. An enemy has been slain. Bye. Attack right lane. Attack right lane.
I feel like we're just kind of running around killing them. I'm gonna try and see if we can actually just end the game. I'm getting a bit bored.
An enemy has been slain.
And it's not like they need me there anyway.
Right tower is under attack. An ally has been slain.
Follow me. Save yourself.
An enemy has been slain.
Okay. Neath, huh? Neath to be doing that stuff to Chuck. That was just Neath ult. I know he's level 14, but still. She just did like I don't know, 70% of his health? That's crazy. No.
An ally has been slain. Ring rips you apart.
I don't have my ult, so don't really want to fight Jingwei, I think. Huh? Yeah, I'm just gonna get up.
Save yourself.
You're actually gonna keep chasing me. I'm just gonna loop around and go back.
Save yourself.
I'm ending the game, boys. No, they backed. Sad. Jingwei definitely hurts. Like, I want to deal with Jingwei too much here. I also have 4k gold, so I'm just gonna finish my stuff here. And I'm definitely, because of Jingwei, getting more physical protection. She's pretty much the only thing that can kill me, I think. Unless I let Kukulkan hit me too much. This might be dead Ymir. Nope. He survived.
Chase the enemy!
Enemy missing.
Curses!
Attack brightly. Chase the enemy. On my way.
She must have TP'd, right?
In middle lane!
Enemy
Yeah, she must have
missing.
TP'd.
Enemies in middle lane!
Attack left lane. Attack middle lane. Attack middle lane.
Be right back!
On my way. Attack middle lane. I mark my territory.
No, I was mid-jump. No! Hehe, mine. Damn it! It's too fast.
Only the beginning!
A bit of a weird late game, I think. Oh, well, I had a hard time taking this game too serious. I had to try and get Jingwei. But once Jingwei died, I think this is kind of when we could end. Jules underneath was just kind of two-shotting people. This late in the game. I'm not even quite sure how, to be honest. That was my promo game too. Nice. Obsidian reached. Not too shabby overall. I just don't know what to play in solo these days, I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting a bit bored of the God Pool. I had a great fun time with Mordred for a long time, and I still do. But I don't want to play him every game. Not anymore. And Fenrir being a top solo is really boring to me, because I don't like playing Fenrir. He's not really my type of god, I think. And he's so powerful. He's super hard to deal with if it's a good Fenrir. Got Jules again. That's nice. Oh no. My solo. No. Damn it, I'm ADC then. Well, I guess I'm playing Jingwei.
Jingwei!
Damn it, I forgot to take my roll. Hey, Neo. Good to see you. How you doing? I'm doing alright. I'm tired today, but at this point, that's not news. It's like every day. It's the heat that does it, though. The heat's fucking me up. It makes me so tired. But yeah, I'm relaxing. I'm chilling, having a good time. I'm feeling the good vibes today. I'm in a good mood. I think I'm gonna buy the new Astrobot game and play it later. I've been seeing some good stuff about it, and like it's practically, I love video games, the game, with the amount of references to things. So I have to play it, I think. Like I did play the first one, Astro's Playroom, but that was more like a tech demo for the PS5 or like the DualSense, the new DualSense controller. So it wasn't like a full game, but it was enjoyable, like a great platformer. So I'm happy to see they made a full game with actual boss fights and stuff too, because there weren't really much of that in the first one. There was maybe like two bosses or something, if I remember it correctly. The biggest supposed like boss that really was the final boss of that game. That actually felt like a boss fight. Dude, where is this guy going? Actually, what are we missing? We're missing jungle. Hopefully he's going jungle, but that's a jungle Goobis. I'm glad I went Jingwei this game. They also have two assassins here. Thana and Susano. That's interesting. Kukulkan. Alright, well I'm against Neith it seems, so that should be easy enough as Jingwei. Assuming it's actually against Neith. You never know sometimes. An Onyx Zeus? Damn. Jules likes the Zeus that much? Not sure I've seen anyone like Zeus that much so far. But that's good. I'm glad some people like him.
Trinkets? Have fun now.
Starlight greets you.
I'm on it. I am Zeus. Oops.
Yes.
Help middle lane.
Attack. Okay.
Dude, my timers are glitched. Again. Why? I don't know why my timers glitch so often. I don't know when the buffs spawn. I mean, I do know now. I'm telling by other means, but the timer makes things a lot easier. Yeah, Primal makes sense. Primal loves Zeus, so yeah, that's fair.
Starlight greets you.
I understand that.
Hi.
Oh, hey, fam.
Have fun. Okay.
We had a massive thunderstorm and ton of rain earlier this morning, so that's a massive W for you. That sounds nice, yeah, definitely cool. I do think so far, like, it's not been too bad in this heat,
Cancel that.
because there has been a pretty decent wind. So it's not unbearable. There hasn't been an unbearable summer day for me just yet. And there might not be one at this point, because it's kind of running out of summer, but I am happy about that. Some people are not, though.
Woohoo!
That definitely annoys some people here.
Starfire
Starfire, consume my enemies. Kukulkan? Wait a minute. Ymir solo. I'm not hitting my autos. That's what I said. You never. Okay, it wasn't neath ADC. It was not. Ares, you can go in, brother. Okay. Good to know. That was a test to see if Ares is something reliable. I don't think he is. I cannot be dashing in. So Ares does not want to fight at all.
Retreat. Need healing. Be careful. Impressive display of skill.
Anubis seems good though. Yeah, Ares is definitely chilling. He's feeling the summer heat and he wants to just sit back and enjoy it. Understandable. Have a nice day.
These foes.
I just need him to chain, you know? If you chain Neith, she's dead, man. Who's gonna protect her? Kukulkan?
Okay.
It's fine for now, though. Like, when I get a few items online, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Also, he warded, though. That's kind of PogChamp.
Enemies incoming. Retreat.
Anytime, friend.
Hold fast.
An enemy has been slain. Nice job.
Enemy missing. Cancel that.
Enemies incoming middle.
Be careful in the jungle.
He went mid.
Has been slain.
Damn it, man. I keep getting splash damage today.
Has been slain.
I do wish Ares just did something, though. Like, right now, Ares is not actually doing anything. He's barely even hitting the creeps. He literally is just sitting back. Hopefully he can press 4, though. That should be enough. Later, at least. He changed the wave. That's not good.
Enemy ultimate down.
How is he not level 5 yet?
Your
What
middle
happened?
tower is
He's sitting so far back, he's not getting enough creeps, I guess.
been slain.
Dude, the Thana ult glitch is so annoying. Get this off my screen, man. I'm not in danger. Damn, dude. Damn it. I don't feel like I'm standing in them. These fucking circles. Go in areas, please. Do something. Either rotate or do something. I'm begging you, man. We're against 2 carries. And I'm just getting poked to shit, man. He's still chaining the wave.
Your middle tower.
I'm just securing my own buff. Screw this. He tried chaining at least. I'll give him props for that. Okay. It's a cool ult. Oh, he chained. Ooh, red buff. Damn, red buff. That was smart. He might still be dead though. Dude, this sun hit my screen. Where is it? Look at this. I kind of played that bad though. I missed way too many autos. That was not ideal.
Enemy missing left.
Enemy missing.
They have too much poke. Is he the ADC? Like, is it need support? Oh, she's still here too. What's happening?
Gank left lane. The unburned. Ultimate is ready.
Enemies in the right lane.
Okay.
Ult.
My judgment. Starfire consume my enemies. Impressive display of skill.
Well done.
You have
There we go.
slain an enemy. Your right tower is under attack.
I have my one for it as well, so that makes it so much easier.
Cancel that. Attack left tower. The Starfire consume
Okay.
my enemies. Starfire consume my
Defend
enemies.
right lane. Thank you. Shh, quiet. Thank you.
Wait. Starfire consume my enemies. Cancel that. Defend left lane.
Enemies in the right lane.
Ultimate is ready.
Enemy missing left.
Let's get crit online.
Ultimate is ready.
Great play areas. Yeah, he played well in the last few exchanges, actually. When he goes in, he goes in. This man knows. He fucks.
Ultimate is ready.
Look at him waiting here. Look at this Giga Chat.
Ultimate is ready.
Damn it, dude. Needs is so much damage. Actually, doesn't even have to do anything. That is nuts. She might be leveling her with her too. I feel like it does way too much damage at level 11. And I still have sun on my screen, and it refuses to
May our paths align again.
go away. My tape isn't working.
Be careful left. Be right back.
I want to take this speed
I'll
buff.
gank middle lane.
An ally has been
I
slain.
want it.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
How much do I need? 2k? Damn. Dude, that's so weird. Why was Thana here? Like, they didn't even know I was there.
Starfire
Fuck me.
consume my
I was setting up for the 1v1 and then Thana fucking was here. Ugh. I need more tape.
Your left tower is under attack.
I got bamboozled.
Your left tower has... Enemy missing right there.
Enemy missing middle.
I don't actually think I can fight Neith at the moment. Her base damage is just way too high. She just fucks me up. One ability and she's done more than I can do in like 3 autos. I need crit before I can fight her.
We need wards.
Enemy missing left.
Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
How's it actually going? It's pretty even so far.
An enemy has been slain. Enemy missing right. Be careful middle.
On my way. Attack the gold fury.
Help!
I'll attack the gold fury. On my way.
On my way.
Attack. Ultimate is ready. Oh, Starfire, consume my enemies.
Gold fury.
Well executed. Enemy missing.
Careful left. Enemy missing right. Be careful left. Be careful left. An ally has been slain.
Damn. He didn't do a single damage to her. Not a single damage. Alright.
Retreat.
Enemies in the right lane.
I got soloed.
Save yourself.
I betrayed my own
No problem.
advice. Don't fight until you get more crit. What did I do? Also, why did she get a shield? She has shell. Why does she have shell?
No problem. Defend the middle lane.
Why doesn't Need have shell? Is... what? We don't have any player-made walls. And shell sucks.
Lightning bolt.
I guess it's as in ADC for the damage reduction on auto attacks. That's not terrible into a Jingwei, I suppose. I can see it, actually. I mean, it's not gonna matter late game, though.
Right. Enemy
And it's definitely terrible into an Ares. That's why she died in the first place. Maybe she went to a different one, accidentally went shell. She could have also just missed bot, yeah. She could have missed bot.
Missing left.
I'll gank.
I'm gonna rotate instead.
I'll gank.
I can't kill Neith at the moment, I'm gonna kill someone else.
Let the heavens rage.
Unfortunate. Ow. I did not have a chance to use my combat blink in that scenario. The freeze fucked me up.
Maybe I'm getting too old for this.
Alright, I need to start logging in. I'm playing like shit.
Save yourself.
Time to log in. What do you feel about Havas having combat blink instead of regular blink? I still hate it. I don't like combat blink in general. I never did. I think it sucks. And not in a good way. It sucks in the... It's a get out of jail free card for the most part, and I hate that. You don't need skill... Like, you can absolutely use it with mastery. So don't get me wrong. And it definitely sets up some pretty cool, like, outplays. But I hate how easy it is to get out of any situation with combat blink.
Enemies in the right lane.
I think it's stupid.
An enemy has been slain.
On my way.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I'm going for it.
Enemy ultimate.
What? No way, dude.
May our paths align again.
Dude, okay, Neith is officially broken. What the fuck was that?
No problem.
Ultimate is ready.
I'm banning Neith from now on. I'm never banning another god in my life.
Paths align again.
Attack the gold fury.
How many items does she have?
Attack the
Okay, dude, she has double stack. Okay, she's got Rod as well. How the fuck does she have all those items already? What? How cheap are they? What's the... Oh, wait, that's okay. We do actually have like a 2.5k gold difference. I didn't even realize how far ahead she was. Not to mention the 2 levels. Damn. Alright, I'll take it back. I'll take it back. I'm too far behind. I need to just farm. I thought I had that though. I really did. I should have combat blinked past it. I had the chance for an outplay and I didn't take it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure she went shell now because of that. I do 20% less damage to her with auto attacks, which obviously nerfs crits overall a lot more.
Careful in the jungle.
I'm pretty sure that that's why she's doing it.
Retreat.
Yes.
On my way. I'll gank.
Help.
On my way. Follow me. I'll gank.
Alright. Do they have any beats? They don't. Anyone's gonna get pulled unless they have CC immune. Which they don't on, like, what, 3 of them? Neith doesn't, Kohukan doesn't, and Susano doesn't. So... that should be easy enough.
Be right back. Need healing.
I'm pretty sure I just saw her. Yeah, there she is.
An enemy has been slain. No problem. I'll be back, I'll attack right lane. Your team destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Gank left lane. On my way.
I can feel fire.
I'm getting really, really greedy. I want the Neith because I know how easy it is for me to kill her. But what the fuck, man?
Starfire consumed.
Dude, he doesn't have ult. He's dead too.
That's not shattered.
Ares, this Ares doesn't understand how much easier it would be for him to hit chains if he just went melee range. Oh yeah, I didn't use dagger, you're right. I mean, could I have... I guess I might have been able to... Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, damn. I'm getting the Neath, guys. I vow, right now, I am soloing this Neath once. After all this. I've been working too hard. And I've come so far not to finish what I've started here. Where is she?
Enemy missing left.
Enemy missing middle. Help!
Yeah, you go that way. I'll take a tower.
Group up. Please. Outgank left lane. Behind us. Enemy ultimate incoming.
Okay. On my way. I'll gank left lane.
On my way. An enemy has been slain. You're right. Let the heavens rain. Slain an enemy. Attack the gold fury.
Attack the gold fury.
That works.
Gold fury. I'll defend.
Not a solo kill though. But Thana ruined that. Otherwise I would have still gone for it.
Now my immortal. The gold fury. Defend the right lane. Your right tower. Under attack. Yes, defend.
What is the yellow damage on the tower?
Is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
Like it's not crits, right?
Fire giant.
Attack the fire giant.
Only the beginning. Enemies in left lane.
Yeah, they should be able to get this for free. Why would they go to me and not fire? That's even why I even pushed in the first place. But okay. Yeah, I think it might be right.
Falling back. Be careful.
I think I would have been able to kill her if I used it in time. What's my last item? I always forget. What do I get last? I may be tempted to get Bloodforge, but... Any more attack speed? Actually, never mind, I remembered. You go Fatalis. Close. But he's dead.
Has been slain. Thank you. Falling back. Be careful. You're welcome. Lightning bolt.
It's alright now, though. I have Deathbringer. So I am ready.
Enemy missing.
Be careful. Left.
Yes.
Enemy missing. Enemies in the left jungle. Enemy spotted. Ultimate is ready.
I'll gank middle
Defend
lane.
Middle lane. Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
I'll gank middle lane. None shall evade my judgment. Starfire, shield my enemy.
Attack middle lane. Attack. Getting warmed up. I'll defend. I'm returning to
The funny thing about Neith so far is that Neith is not leaving her lane. Like, even a little bit.
Starfire, consume my enemies.
There's zero chance of her leaving that lane so far.
tower is under attack.
God damn it! Stop, Kokolkin! Why am I still tanking this?
Attack the Titan.
Enemies incoming! Enemies
Okay.
incoming! Enemies have returned!
Healing.
Okay.
Enemy missing! Aye.
Red buff.
Right back.
Is under attack.
No.
Defend the fire giant. Ultimate down. Defend right lane.
Your right Phoenix is under attack. Oops.
We lost the Phoenix, man! These things are broken. It happened again. These things are so fucking broken. I don't think this has happened to my enemy team before. It always happens to me, though. What does that say?
Enemy team has destroyed.
Oh no, and that was an Ancient Fury too. Oh my god. Game's turning. It's over.
Set up an ambush here. You move like a jaguar. Oh,
Trinket.
enemies in the left jungle.
It's Jover. Yeah, I know. I'm bad at it. It's not muscle memory yet.
Enemies have returned to base.
And I don't actually play ADC that much these days, so when I buy it, I always forget about it.
On my way. I'll tank middle lane. Ultimate is ready.
Ultimate is ready.
Attack right lane.
Oh,
Retreat.
yes! Lightning bolt.
Like, I don't. He can't even do it. He's healing a lot though.
Your left Phoenix is under attack. Attack left tower. No problem. Slain an enemy. No problem. Attack left tower. Follow me.
Attack
You
left
hit
tower.
like a big.
Attack fire giant.
Oh yeah, it's never mind. I just realized what happened. It's because obviously because the Phoenix is not attacking at the moment that he could do that. Then it was not a bad idea of him to do it. I understand.
Attack.
It's cooled.
Ultimate is ready.
Attack.
I'll attack.
Oh my god, that's still hit, man.
Lightning bolt. Ally has been slain.
Neither.
I need healing. Falling back.
That old.
Aye.
Really?
Enemy ultimate incoming. Is under attack.
No. If I could hit more, that'd be great. But I almost died because I'm bad. Should have had Thana with my one.
Be careful.
We gotta just do fire.
I'll be back, eh? Or will I?
Attack fire giant.
Yes. I'll attack left lane. Split push.
Okay. On my way. Ultimate is ready.
The enemy team has destroyed the fire giant.
How much damage did that do to me? I can't tell what the fuck all this means. Oh, this. 1,030, 34.
An ally has been slain. I'll attack.
Oh, we didn't get fire either. Oh shit. Well. Well, might have joined the... I mean, it was only me and Zeus, so... Oh, his ult... Did the whole ult just come up? We actually lost. We actually lost, man. I'm banning Neith from now on. I'll ban Neith every single game unless I'm first pick and I have someone that can just pick it. That is crazy. How are the games today? I'm very disappointed in this game. I'm not happy with what just happened. I kind of threw this one with a bad fire call with my Zeus. And we both died, and we were pretty much the main 2 damage dealers we had. If we die, we pretty much lose the game. And that's what happened. Why did I die, though? Neith ult. Neith ult doing 1,000 damage to me while I was sank in fire. And I didn't even realize I actually had it on me. Yeah, I'm solo queuing. Damn. I did play this game really bad, though. If I deserve to lose any of my games so far, this is the one. I played pretty badly. I got soloed twice. The Neith was good. Without a doubt, like, Neith was good. I didn't recognize the name, though, but I think that will happen a lot now. Because people won't have the same name as they did in Smite 1. So... But this is definitely one of the games where I was fully taught that Neith is not okay, no matter what. Yeah, Neith essentially one-shot me at level 15. With her 2 and 1 combo. While she was at 1 HP, and I was chasing her down. Yeto? That's a name I recognize, though. Might be Sir Yeto. I imagine this. How goes the grind? It goes fine. I might have gotten demoted now, actually, because I was pretty low and I just got into Obsidian. I might have gotten demoted out of it now. I'm at the point where you top pick every game now. That might be matchmaking. I think you're right. It seems like there might be some matchmaking, because I'm actually getting like people in my games now. I'm banning Neith. Fuck this god. I'm not dealing with it. I'd rather deal with anything else at this point than Neith. She has been the biggest bane of my existence as a solo laner or an ADC. The problem is if it's a good Neith. The thing is, Neo, there's a few gods I'm very frustrated by at the moment. It's Fenrir, it's Neith, and it's Bacchus. Sometimes it's Sol as well, but for the most part it is, it's those. I mean, there's also Jing Wei, but I don't feel like I'm meeting a good Jing Wei that often. But she might also just be banned most of the time as well, so... There's just too many gods right now where if it's played well, it is insanely hard to deal with. Was that a case in Smite 1? Yes, but usually those gods had some kind of counter. And if it was something completely outrageous, kind of like how it was in the end with Cerberus and Cthulhu with Curseweaver in Smite 1, at least you had so many bans that you could just get rid of them. That's simply not an option here. You can ban one. that you don't want to deal with. And there's so much shit left still. I think as a mid laner, I understand that Susano is the biggest problem, because a good Susano is also very, very hard to deal with. Susano solo gave you issues, that's funny. I don't think I've met a Susano solo a single time. But I also don't think it's particularly good, especially if something like Fenrir is on the table. Like Fenrir, Chalk. I think Hades is probably going to struggle with it early, because Hades is so bad early. Later it shouldn't be a problem. I guess it still could be, because Susano can kind of always get out of the ult. More than once. I would definitely ban a Fenrir if I know I'm against a good one. They have a funny comp. I think it's Odin solo and then Chalk jungle. But they have a very... Dude, their teamfight comp is kind of crazy. They have 3 big circles.
Groovy.
Yeah, it's got pretty good clear at level 2, Susano, because you can just pull the creeps in, and then one them, and usually it just kind of dies. It's funny, the assassins have very good clear. It's the same thing with Mordred. Mordred also clears very well at level 2. Dude, why? I'm not doing anything. I'm just loading into the game. My game crashed. It happens legitimately like 50% of my time doing this. And I don't know why. It just started happening. It usually didn't do this. It used to never do this. I hope this is something that's fixed as well in the first patch. They try lowering graphical settings? Could be. I don't want to, though. But I might have to do something. Or try something. What am I picking here? Honestly, probably Sunder.
Yeah, what if, like, our minds are the best weapons?
Do we go Bluestone on Bacchus? I guess I could. I'll try it, I guess. Actually, no, I want protection. Undo, and I'll guess I'll do it for just for the clear. And first item, I guess I'm going for something like this. This is a terrible start, by the way. But I'm not exactly picking Bacchus for the early game.
Psychedelic or what?
I'll get Prophetic early, start stacking. As early as I can. Why is Kukulkan here?
Minions have spawned. Retreat!
He wants the blue buff. This man can fuck off.
Retreat!
Oh, he's out jungler? Uh-oh. I think we might have issues, boys.
Retreat!
We might have issues, boys. Oh no, we're running the double duo lane. No? Okay, we might be good. I don't think I'm not gonna hit level 2 here though. That's the worst.
Your middle tower is under attack. You are weak.
Yeah, it seems like I'll be fine.
Your middle tower is under attack.
No, he's coming back. Go away. Oh my god. I think I might have to jungle in this one. I'm gonna hit level 3 and I'm gonna go jungle.
I may or may not be baked.
An ally has been slain.
Yeah, this is not good.
An ally has been slain.
Okay.
I may or may not.
Your left tower is under attack.
Okay, dude. Yeah, I think this is done. That matchmaking is... The thing is, matchmaking might be fixed, but this problem is not easily fixed. Because we're still in the, you know, should we say, low player count of Smite, so even if you might get decent matchmaking, it's still gonna be the same shitty matchmaking, because you're dealing with at least one person who don't know what the fuck is going on or what's up and down. Like Michael Culkin in this game. So...
An ally has been slain.
I may or may not.
Because this is just not a fun experience now. If anyone wants to queue, duo queue, I'm down. I don't want to play in it. I don't want to do this. I would win this lane super hard.
An ally has been slain.
But... it wasn't meant to be, I'm afraid. You went back in? Why?
Your middle tower is under attack. You have slain an enemy. May the gods of Valkyrie surround you. Get fucked. An ally has been slain.
That was close. I'm glad I sundered just in case.
Yeah, what if like our minds are the best weapons? Yeah.
Yeah, very close. Yeah, Sunder doesn't even need a nerf. It just needs to be removed. It should never be a thing. It's stupid.
Okay.
Sorry. No.
I'm getting into some of this Smite Diesel.
Why are you here, Athena? Why are we doing this? She gonna land anyway? She just landed back in her death. She actually spawned and died. That's so funny.
Tank middle lane.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack.
Be right back.
Okay. Later.
Let's grab this as well, actually. Let's get a bunch of double protection.
Your right tower.
Shifters is really good on the new Bacchus too. Because with him, you're actually getting either, if you full HP, power. And if you also lose health, you also get power. And you get more tanky. It's great. I will never let anyone have a hug. It sucks. Everyone hates it. And their mothers as well. No one likes it. Some things don't deserve to be loved. Wall? Yeah, look at that wall. Also seems like our Sol is losing to Anubis, which is unfortunate.
We're getting into some of this smite diesel.
Your left
Probably shouldn't have sundered, but whatever. Time to go check red. Because I need another one.
tower is under attack.
Oh, it's spawning actually.
Tower is under attack.
Old Hog was definitely something.
Your right tower is under attack.
Let's just give everyone a stun while we're at it.
Be careful, middle.
On my way.
Enemy ultimate down.
Your right tower.
I shall protect you.
No, I'm dead.
Lead us to victory.
I'm sad. I mean, I think I could have survived if Ymir was hitting the ring on the outside, but... Oh well.
Your left tower is under attack. This is my domain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot for this, because I'm pretty sure, like, Yeto is probably so Yeto here. Anubis, though, might become a problem here. He is 4-0. And since I am the jungler, very intentionally, I think I need to go gank him.
Things are about to get heavy.
At least I've built in anti-healing, so that's nice.
An ally has been slain. slain an enemy. Shut down.
He blinked too, so that's good. Yeah, I had nothing else. I didn't want him to end up actually getting out. Because the thing is, I just jumped. If he ended up mummifying me, he could potentially end up getting out. And I didn't want that to
Your
happen.
right tower is under attack.
Be right back.
Was I spotted? Yeah, I was not.
Your right tower is under attack.
This doesn't actually look too bad over here. I'm gonna go help.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Destroyed a middle enemy.
I'm not gonna let you get away, Mr. Odin. Am I in range? I'm not in range for my ult, I think.
I may or may not.
I already ganked Sol.
I will be your shield.
Damn it! Didn't get my auto off. Freeze? Freeze? Oh, freeze! Where the freeze at? Wow, how, why is he moving like this? I'm tilting, guys. It's Jover. My mind's gone.
Dig middle lane.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has been destroyed.
Of course. Kind of unlucky. Unlucky he ran into my jump.
Yeah, what if like our
'Cause I kinda just went for that.
minds are the best weapons? Yeah.
Kukulkan has just given up on being in solo, I guess. I guess I'm pushing up this lane a bit.
Enemy missing left.
Salt's going in. Salt's dead. I think I see how he died all the time. Against the Anubis. This man has -5 awareness.
Has been slain.
Yeah, it seems he doesn't want to dash. The Kidno is definitely just holding on to his dash for a long time.
An ally has been slain.
I'm getting into some of this Smite Diesel.
I'm surprised we were able to push the Phoenix though. No one came. Except for him, the Kidnos.
I'll attack the Gold Fury.
Be careful in the jungle. Has been slain.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah! Attack the Gold Fury!
Oh my god.
I may or may not.
We can kill him instead, probably, but still. Let's make her drunk. I'm the only one chasing, okay. Dude, what's happening? I feel like I'm going insane. Why am I the only one chasing the low HP Athena when someone else called for the attack? I'll take the tower, no problem, team. I also just now realized everything is on normal casts. No wonder everything feels so slow.
Go back home, pup.
You actually want to fight me, Mr. Odin, huh? You seem like you want to taunt too.
On my way. Enemies at the fire giant.
Flip out on us like that, dude.
Anubis is kind of outplaying us right now. Yeto needs to stop grouping with me, I think, as well. Well, not grouping, like standing on top of me. Because if that happens, that cannot happen. I'll face check. Then he needs to stay further back. Yeah, am I gonna lose another game? Looks like that might be the case.
Ally has been slain.
There is definitely no matchmaking. I refuse to believe that matchmaking exists, for my own sanity. Yeah, I know the Jing, Soryeto. At least I believe that is the same guy.
Your right
Enemies in
tower
left
is
lane.
under attack.
Group up, group up, group up.
Help left lane.
Your right tower has been destroyed.
Like, we have to kill the Anubis.
Your left
Enemies
tower
in right lane. Retreat middle lane.
Your left tower is under attack.
Anubis might be the only one we need to kill. He does have a shit ton of lifesteal, though.
Enemies in middle lane.
Kukulkan.
Ambush here.
That's Anubis ult on me. That's good. Damn it, he blinked. I feel like we're kind of doing no damage. Maybe that's just me.
Okay.
What this is happening? How is Chuck not dying? Dude, what is Jingwei building? Early Fatalis, but I feel like Chuck should have died right there against Jingwei. Like 100%. Okay, dude. I'll take the blame for that. I tried to go for the hero play on the Anubis. Doesn't matter though, because they have everything up and they can just use that on me.
Your middle phoenix has been destroyed.
Shit. I'll repeat myself. If anyone wants a duo queue next game, I'm down. Because I have once again hit one of those games where it is impossible because I literally have 3 players here who doesn't know what's up and what's down. And their whole team seems to kind of know. I think maybe it's except for their Chuck. Chuck seems a bit confused. But Anubis knows, Athena knows, obviously the Kernels knows. And I recognize the Kernel's name as well. He's not bad. But they're blinking into my phoenixes, killing my teammates. Jingwei should have him though. I also need 20. Really badly.
I may or may not.
The gold fury.
How did that hit me, bro? I disagree, game. I'm gonna mindlessly chase this.
Or may not.
Be your shield.
Okay, dude.
Just need to get it together.
We ain't killing the Anubis. Something is happening and we're not killing the Anubis. I need magic protection of some kind. Let's get Oni Hunters. Is the Kuga's second game all time? Yeah, I mean... And then I can't really blame him. He also didn't choose a role and yoinked my solo, you know? I refuse to believe that matchmaking exists when stuff like that happens. So... Also, I kind of hope that they announce when there's matchmaking. Ymir took red buff as well. He's actually full damage Ymir, just realized. That is actually a full damage Ymir. There's a lot of these things. You can use all you want on me, Chuck, buddy. But I don't actually think it's gonna make a difference. Alright. Might be losing Phoenix here. No, it looks like they backed off. My dude, why am I stuck clearing waves?
Ultimate is ready. Okay.
Defend middle lane.
Anti-healing? I don't think I need it as Bacchus. I have built in anti-healing. I could get more for sure. I definitely could get more. Someone else should get it though. Like Ymir should have had it. If it gets like absolutely horrible, I could still just sell something and get it.
Defend the fire giant.
On my way.
For now, we'll see though. Like a good jump should lead to the kill on Anubis.
An enemy has been slain.
Or just, yeah, there we go.
Enemy has a fire giant.
Sundered in time. Alright. Get him! Oh my god.
Okay.
Attack middle lane.
Like, he baited us long enough for this to, we might not be able to end anymore. At least get 2 Phoenixes, I guess. This is Blink. I'll take it. There is also still a tower here.
Attack right lane. Things are about to get heavy. Get funky.
No! We might honestly just be able to finish the game here. How did that not hit?
Destroyed a left enemy phoenix.
Oh, whatever. We won in the end because they entered, but yeah, that was a bit weird. It's funny, the second Anubis stopped ulting me, we started winning again. Thank God we ended up winning that game. I couldn't handle another loss like that. Like before. Okay. Yeah, GG's Ryato. GG's. So does anyone want to duo queue? Because I don't want to do that again. I don't want to lose my lane because someone is playing their second Smite 2 game. I think it's time to do triple queue or something like that. Hopefully a triple queue, but I'm down for a duo queue as well. Okay, if you want. Yeah, you just called Yeto, right? Let's do it. Yeto. Yeah, I can take both of you. I get you guys. Can you like roll for it somewhere? Do a roll, or like a. I don't know. How do we decide this? Notebook and Benji or Haywire. Good notebook. Are you sure, Benji? Notebook. It should be alright. We can always just swap people in and out if it comes to it. You wanted to flip a coin. Can't you just like get an app on the phone? A coin flip app? I think my friend has one. Actually, maybe I should have gotten one. Because I could just show it on stream too, you know? Just show the phone, so I'm not cheating. Why not following? How dare you? How dare you? It's fine. I mean, not everyone's gonna follow. I don't require people to follow to use the chat, for example. I know a lot of people do that. So some people might forget. I don't think people should be required to follow to message in chat. I think that's people's own choice. If you want to follow, you follow. If not, that's fine. But, yeah. That's how we run things differently. Alright, let's see how long the queue's gonna be. Might have to wait a little bit. Not very long. That's nice. Yeto, are you solo main as well? Or I guess actually, were you support main? I always forgot. Are you? What do you main? Yeah, I think we were lucky we had Jingwei Bakus that game. Otherwise, late game would have been real tough to deal with that Anubis. But Flop doing almost 600 damage as a full tank Bakus is not okay. Am I leaving Neath open, team? I think I am. I'm gonna ban Loki instead. One of you... I hope one of you wants Neath, otherwise I'm taking it, if it's open. I'm not dealing with that shit anymore. Your soul mean it's my 1, but for ranked, it's my 2 middle is just better. Fair enough. Fair enough. Voice comes? Not for now. I'll just chill and interact with chat. And I can't use the in-game one, because my problem with the in-game one is that I level up stuff on shift and the 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, and you use shift as the push to talk button, which is really annoying, and you can't change it. I'll get you, Neath. Overdrive solve, I can get it. Fair enough. What do you want? I want to see what they pick first, just in case. Because I kind of feel like I want to do Mordred again. I mean, it might be time for Mordred to get pulled back out. But if they pick Fenrir, I don't. Yeah, you can just get Mordred. Oh, that's it. We got Yeto and Yeto. Damn. The matchup of the century. No, well, now I hope trading works. Because 2 days ago, trading did not work. Because even though it shows that I am now Mordred, I might not be Mordred when I go into the game. We'll see. Hopefully it works. It's fine, Rysterian. Pick whatever you want. I think I fixed it yesterday. Okay. Good, because that was bad. Not being able to trade is kind of ruining a lot of people's experience. My dude, is this gonna be Anubis solo? I hope not. I hope not. Oh man, that looks like it might be Anubis solo. Not being able to trade when this pick order is priority is nuts. Yeah, it was a bug, so I mean, it happens. But it was tough. It was really annoying. It fucked up stuff for everyone. Like anyone partying with people tends to pick something out of order and need to trade at some point.
Mordred, Mordred, Mordred.
Oh no.
Mordred,
This isn't shaping up to be good.
Mordred.
I'm not seeing any skins. I'm Opal Neath. Neath has changed.
Mordred.
I mean, if I'm Neath solo, that's fine. I'm more worried about the Mordred mid. But I guess we would just swap if that ended up being the case. Okay, it shows me as Mordred. That's good. Oh, we're using the I port? I'm not sure who else is in that party, but that might be a 5-man for all I know right now. I hope not, though. Don't let this be a 5-man. I am indeed Mordred. Good. Good start. I like that start. Now, if I am against Anubis, I might need to go lifesteal myself then. Do I do lifesteal myself? Nah.
This will bring me one step closer.
But I will probably need to go for some very early anti-healing. Because I'm not Bacchus this time, I don't build an anti-healing. Can't rely on burping people in the face anymore. At least my timer works. That's the first time today. In the beginning of the game. That the timers actually work.
Minions have spawned.
Got the double creep. Very nice. It's Hecate solo, huh? Okay. Well, that's definitely not gonna be a hard matchup.
An enemy has been slain.
That's good for me.
Overpower and manipulate. Overpower and manipulate.
I just need to clear the way fast.
All magic flows to me. Overpower and manipulate.
Retreat!
An enemy
He's gonna have a lot of poke though.
Retreat! Retreat!
Alright, good job in mid.
Retreat!
Okay. Nice job.
She's just staying back though.
Distract and destroy.
We got blink out of her. That's good.
An ally has been slain. Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
An enemy has left the game.
Ah, that's what happened. That's unfortunate. Red Puck hasn't been taken at all.
An enemy has returned.
But you miss a Thanatos. I've been winning with Thanatos. What do you mean? Thanatos not a big problem. I agree that he is pretty weak overall, but I don't think he's that bad.
Okay.
It's more like if he falls behind, then yes, I agree with you. But if he actually gets a lead, he still does pretty good damage.
I sense your fear. An ally has been
I'll let him take his blue. I don't want to just be a super asshole and just start denying him every wave and stealing all his buffs. I'll let him get a 1 blue after he DC'd for free. And then that will be it. I also can't look... I can't give him stuff for free either. Unfortunately.
Your left tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack. Sense of blood.
Left lane.
Overpower and manipulate.
An enemy has been slain.
Nice job.
An ally has been slain.
Overpower and manipulate.
Slain an enemy.
Enemy missing middle. Be careful left. Be careful left.
I apologize, iPort. I know very well how shitty it is to DC at the moment in Smite 2.
Sense of blood.
Happened to me yesterday. A lot. Happens to me every day, honestly, these days. I DC a lot in Smite 2. For some reason.
My blades hunger. An enemy has been slain.
You rock.
Someone just did red.
Sense of blood.
Like, I don't really think a DC would have changed a whole lot. To at least that's some kind of relief, hopefully. Oh, he did evade my blue though. Good on him. Too quiet? Am I too quiet? No, he got my dash. Aw, man. That sucks. That's unfortunate. Why is Ares here? Why is he level 6?
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury. All shall kneel before the right enemy tower.
Overpower and manipulate.
An ally has been slain.
Oh, chat went quiet. I'm sorry. I need to stop. Like, I've made a bad habit of only reading the newest messages real fast, and then sometimes I get something out of context. Excuse me, out of context. And it's silly. I saw Susano down there. Is he gonna come this way? What? Okay, dude. Okay. Okay, dude. Okay. That worked intended. Yes. I'm 100% sure. Oh, someone did this.
Scent of blood. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
I have seen that happen sometimes. Like, the thing is, I should have hit it originally when he started doing the animation, but sometimes it glitches, and it just does it, like, it delays it. So it didn't change anything. I still hit the ultimate. It just didn't hit in the right time. Is he warding? Is he warding? It feels like he's warding.
Enemy missing left.
Let me grab this, actually. He might be warding. Stop.
Behind an ally has been slain.
Enemies in middle lane.
On my way. An enemy has been slain.
You rock.
See, that looked a bit more clean than the other one.
Death follows. Slain an enemy.
Damn, we didn't get him. That sucks.
Your team has
They have 2 mages.
middle enemy
I can't go as tanky as I usually do. Damn it. Time for flower, I guess.
under attack.
Yeah, probably the enemy when leaving the wall, but range when stuck, they consider it a no-hit. Maybe? Yeah, maybe.
Your team has destroyed my blades. Your right tower is under attack.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of issues with his ultimate. I'm surprised he was released in this state, I'm not gonna lie. His ultimate literally bugs like... I feel like at least 20% of the time, which is very high for a god that has ult up almost all the time. Never the rank 1 though. The rank 1 always works, so that's nice.
Is down.
An enemy has been slain.
Distract and destroy.
I don't really have much to do here. It's pretty much only one objective left, that's fire. Don't really think we want to do that. We could, I think. But
The day of reckoning is at hand.
I'm not sure. Dude, I just realized the only physical they have is Susano. I need more stuff. I'm gonna go Purification here, because they have Anubis as well. I think some CC immune would actually be kind of nice. Dude, I have way too much physical protection. I have 1 item dedicated just to Susano in Berserker's Shield. I might have done an oopsie.
Enemies at the fire giant.
Okay, dude. They did get fire, somehow.
Has been slain.
Nice job.
Attack middle lane. Retreat.
Attack left tower.
You are no match. Your team has destroyed an ally has been slain. Run high, death follows close.
I think I made the mistake of also chasing Susano there.
Attack the gold.
Your right tower is under attack.
Enemies in right lane.
Your right tower has been. Your team has destroyed the gold fury.
A Muris Bushi, Bushi, yes. Let me know if I nailed it or not. I'm guessing no. It sounds Japanese, which is why I ended up going in that direction. But it might not be. Maybe it's somewhere else. Very good. Okay. Probably the only guy who said it correctly. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Is it Japanese inspired? Or is it Japanese? Maybe not even inspired. My dude. That was close.
Has been slain.
Nice job.
Glorious power is mine for the taking. You are surprisingly capable.
The middle is my name backwards. I see. Yeah, Maurice Bushy. Dude, are you supposed to split it up like with every big letter? So Murispo Shi. Murispo Shi? Murispo Shi.
Your team has destroyed a right
Yeah, okay.
Phoenix.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
An enemy has been slain.
And yeah, Benji, I see you have a rough game, huh? I do hope, I said it before as well, I hope they announce when matchmaking actually becomes a thing.
Sorry.
They are just gonna go fire. I'm sad that in the confusion of all of that, Anubis still actually ended up wrapping me. But Titan was poked a lot by minions. I did just try to go for the Susanoo kill instead. Again. I could have tried to see if I could just steal fire, but I don't think I could. Either way, but... maybe I could have. I don't have good secure on Mordred. And I think with iPort playing Hecate, they have just way better secure.
Ultimate is ready.
Oh, I didn't use Purification. Man. I am bad at remembering my items. Remind me! You don't actually have to, but... I'll get used to it eventually, but I'm not used to having... I'm used to this room. This room I'm very used to. I used it before the fight to heal back up. When I got wrapped by Anubis, I did not use my purification here.
Been slain. Retreat. The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
We gotta push up our lanes here. We gotta try and make sure that... Dude, our fire wave is losing because they have two of the big ones. I said again, they're bullshit. The Minotaurs are broken. They did kill it now, though, but... The Minotaurs are horse shit.
Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower has been destroyed.
On my way.
Enemies have returned to base.
Alright, I can't do that yet. How much do I need? 1600? How many gods to choose from now? How many is it exactly? It's still like 24, 25-ish.
Your middle tower is under attack.
It's still very underwhelming.
Scent of blood.
And unfortunately, the next few aren't looking particularly good either.
Enemies in left lane. Enemy missing left. That's too bad.
I'll grab red buff here. I can probably utilize it better than most. Well, Neith should have it, I think, but right now Neith is not around here.
Ward the fire giant. Group up.
On my way. Ultimate is ready.
Gank.
An ally has been slain.
Enemies behind.
Where did he come from? I didn't even see him on the map. Damn, that's not good. We can't do fire as easily without Jing.
Ultimate is
Gank.
down.
This is awkward. That shit still lingers. Dude, I'm trying to use my anything. Aw, man.
Save yourself.
Okay. We'll build. I'm gonna get a bunch of fucking wards now as well.
We need wards.
Good poke. Very good poke. Yeah, very nice poke. Good shit. Thana is just not willing to go in here. Get HP on it. Still full. If they come in, we have to kill them.
Enemies in left lane.
We cannot let them steal this. Alright, good shit, team. Good shit.
Sense of blood.
Be right back.
My blades hunger.
Ultimate is ready. Help! Attack the gold fury!
Help left lane.
Enemies at the gold fury! Ready.
Sense of blood. Your team has my blades hunger have slain an enemy.
Counter their curses.
Is under attack.
Good game.
Attack the Titan.
Well done.
Right enemy Phoenix.
Well done. I'm already a 3-man party, vibes. Thanks for asking, though. This is new gun in Smite 2. Never seen this guy before. Yeah, he's new in Smite 2. Hecate as well as Mordred was this guy, or the new gods. Hecate is this one on the main screen. You want a 5-man Vibes? You can join if you want to. Alright, what are you guys called? I'll get you in. I might not be able to do much more than like 1 or 2 games though. But are you the online one? That's 2 of you. Is he warrior or jungle god? Technically there's no classes anymore. He plays like an assassin or a warrior. Yeah, 1k plus Bluestone is crazy. Neath ult is way too much damage. Make me leader. I don't see you in the party at all. Yeah, I can invite you again. There we go. Yes. What I can tell you is that he feels like a mix of Tsukuyomi and King Arthur. That's the best way I can put it. He feels like a mix of those two. He's got pretty low mobility in his general kit, but he has an ultimate he can charge up that has like a rank 1 and a rank 2. The rank 1 is just like a frontal thing. Would you lead her back? Alright. Just like a quick frontal, a root. That also seems to cripple, mind you, but it doesn't say it does. And the rank 2 part of his ultimate is a very, very long-ranged charge that essentially is an Arthur ult as well, if you hit it. But it can be very easy to juke. I wouldn't, like, he's not that good. In competitive, he was rarely ever picked. He's got pretty good presence in lane, but I think once you get to mid-game and late-game teamfighting, he's not that good. He's very easy to focus down, he's got very low mobility, kind of like the Tsukuyomi, where he does a lot of damage, but you can very, very quickly just catch him. Wait, do you intend on playing that? I don't think so. We can probably swap around. I think Notebook can play whatever, right? The Notebook jungle. We're getting Notebook jungle. But yeah, you guys can occupy duo if you want to. I think that's fine. I'll go solo. I can jungle as well if it comes to it. My jungle is obviously not as good as my solo though. But yeah, as I was saying, Mordred is the one. Hecate here is the other one. These two gods are unique to Smite 2. And they won't be coming to Smite 1, obviously, so. Wonder who we're against. Is there something you guys want me to ban? If we're not picking Neath, I will ban it. I'm not dealing with that shit. I'm so done getting Neath ulted for 80% of my HP late game. Agba Neath, alright. I mean, actually, their first pick. Are we banning Bacchus or Loki? Probably Bacchus, I guess. Actually, I'm just gonna, yeah. I'm not even banning. I don't know why I'm telling you guys. I'm not banning. Ragnar and Vibes are way higher than me. I'm so used to banning now. I've been banning all day. I can just sit back and not think about it. No problem. Yeah, I could just throw Party Leader to someone else. Then I can AFK as well. I kind of want to play something else in solo that I haven't played for a while. Yeah, I'm kind of limited against Chuck though. First pick Chuck as a choice. You think so? Chuck is arguably the best solo, so I don't think it's that crazy. I think Fenrir and Chuck are probably the best solos right now. I mean, compared to other things though, I don't think he's obviously on the same level as someone like Loki. I think Loki, Bacchus, Jingwei, Neith, Sol probably still beats him out. I think in ranked, Susano definitely is good, but I think people are overestimating Susano in general. But that's just because Susano has counters on the board. Fenrir and both Ares heavily destroy Susano. But I'm also probably thinking about it too heavily in terms of competitive. My mind is way too competitive. And not very rank based. Susano's a pain without comms, you think so? I think Susano just kind of kills everything by himself. Well, Yeto can want it the Neath anytime, so I'm picking it for him here. And if he doesn't want it, then I'll just pick it in solo, or get it in solo. I definitely don't want to give them Susano and Neath. That's just too annoying. Airs feels awkward at the moment. His passive now gives int for CDR and strength of protections. It's a bit of a strange one, I agree, but it's not bad. It is pretty good. His old passive was even weirder, I think. What am I getting for you? Let me see what they pick. Just to make sure that it is actually Chuck in solo. Pretty sure it's Chuck solo, but... Yeah, what's even open for me? I guess if I'm tryharding, like the obvious one would be Fenrir. I'm trying to think. What's even left? You can hover Fenrir. I'm trying to think. I wish you could see gods, but you can't actually see anymore. Once you've picked a god, you can't see what's left. Like Mordred's still open too, but I don't think I want to do Mordred again. I just do Fenrir. Fuck it. Got the Fenrir. Fenrir is good here. As he always is. Bellona support is fun at the moment. Not for me. But I don't think Bellona is particularly fun in general right now. Mostly because she still feels really clunky. Bring out the Hades solo. I actually do enjoy playing the Hades. My only problem with him is how weak he feels early. I hate his pre-level 5. Or maybe like pre 2 or 3 items Hades. It's so unfun to play in my head. The majority of the time I feel like you're just kind of auto-attacking. Classic. At this point I'm not even surprised. Alright, you can let me open the game again. That'd be great. So I can get back in. Thank you. Oh, I reset my settings again. Let's do them once again, shall we? Fixed. Yeah, the game crashed. The thing is, it happens to me, Bengus. It happens to me, I would say, 50% of the time I load into a game, it crashes me. Which is not, like, it's not horrible, right? If you're gonna crash, at least do it in the loading screen, because then I have time to get back in and nothing's gonna happen with it, right? Yesterday, though, I had the worst case of crashing. It happened every time I used Morrigan ult. It was really, really bad. Every time I Morrigan ulted, I crashed. So I am refusing now to play Morrigan until I know that's fixed. Yeah, I'm still in party. Because that's probably the most unfun I've had in Smite 2 so far. That was incredibly not fun. The one thing you're good at on Morrigan, and you're literally not able to do it. Damn it.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Not heal me very much just yet. I wanted to see how much that would heal me. But it didn't really. I'll just stick around, I guess. I have pots.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Be careful, right? On my way. Enemies have returned. Be right back. Ultimate is ready. Has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Things are happening in mid.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Splendid performance.
Game security violation? What do you mean? Iris. You need to fix this. This is my current Smite 2 experience. I mean, the easy anti-cheat bullshit happened in Smite 1 as well. That's not something that happens a lot for me in Smite 2, but that's just easy anti-cheat bullshit doing its thing. Always thinking you're bad. Bad man detected. Out with him. I need to back for Devil Gloves anyway, so... Oh, it's... Oh my god, reset my settings. Where are you at?
Your team has destroyed
Thank you.
the left enemy tower.
This man yoinked my blue buff while I was gone. And he has got a level on me now too. Oh, this is great. This is what I wanted. Alright, are you in for it now, Chuck? I'm gonna log in for a little while. That's not okay, dude. He took everything here. I did kill his mid laner, though.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Attack the Gold Fury.
That's an ult.
An enemy has been slain.
I think I'm out of range.
Attack the
Wanted to
Gold
try anyway.
Fury. On my way. An enemy has been slain.
Did he see me? Am I invisible? I don't think he saw me. Brutalize does not do enough damage yet.
An enemy has been slain. Slay an enemy. Attack them.
Damn.
Fury.
I am lucky. Because I expected that to die here. I just wanted to make sure he died. For taking my poor blue buff. I'm glad I survived. I kind of want to try and do this. I want to do this real fast. Stop. My escape button still presses twice. So when I press escape, it will pop up instantly again. And it's so annoying. It's actually it's kind of tilting. It pisses me the fuck off. It's like a taunt, you know? Like when I do this. It's not every time. You see? Sometimes it instantly closes. That's when it double presses. I need to buy a new keyboard. I keep saying this. I'm just lazy. I can't just go buy a new keyboard. Assuming it is the keyboard. When we try to poach the shop, it starts scrolling like crazy. That shit pisses me off. Same, yeah. That's also really frustrating when it does that.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
It's funny how some very small things just pisses the shit out of you. It's always unique to every person.
Enemy has been slain.
You can be the most calm person, but that one thing, you know, that one thing pisses you the fuck off. I love it. It's so human.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Does the ward not see me here? What? My Brula still went off? Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Classic 5-man queue, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Getting closer. I've reached Obsidian at least now. This is normal. Hopefully everyone is in queue. Let me know if you're not in queue, guys. Because I did crash, so... But I'm still in the party. Yeah, I'm at the highest I've been, yeah. I'm just slowly rising. The thing is with ranked, I'm just not playing it that much. In queue, perfect. Thank you for confirming. It is the highest I've been, yeah. I just don't. I was about to say I just don't play that much. Like I play ranked on stream for the most part, and when I chill by myself, I usually don't play ranked. I just kind of play casuals, and then I just level gods up with worshippers. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting up there with Modred here. I need to just keep going. I gotta get that Radiant. Go back to catch ups and catch up. You'll get there eventually if you keep playing, I'm sure of it. The thing is, do you want to be up there just yet? Like, do you want to go against people like me and Vives and Sorieto and all those? Not too far off. Right. Match found. Yeah, we're 1-1 in Smite 2. That's true. That we are. Yeah, I think Gabu is he's not solo queuing much anymore. I think that's why you're not meeting him. Gabu mainly solo queued in the beginning, and then I think I don't know why he stopped necessarily, but I think he just kind of ended up doing what everyone else is doing, like queue up with someone and get some easier wins and just kind of rise for when the matchmaking gets fixed, so you're not stuck in elo hell. Yeah, why solo queue be matched with Empress when you can party and have a proper team? I mean, you're right. It definitely gets a bit boring sometimes when you just ruffle stump. The only time people like the team I have right now really gets challenged is if they're against another team doing the same thing, who is also Masters players. Otherwise, it's just games like the last one. I mean, those games are pretty fun. I've been in a few of those. The 5v5 when you're against big players is it's quite enjoyable. I've enjoyed a lot of those games. The only annoying part about it is sometimes you're just kind of like, I'm just picking whatever, having fun, and then you pick something, well, kind of stupid, and then you meet really good players, and you're kind of stuck in this really bad position where you pick something that's bad against actually good players. hmm I don't know what to pick here. I was about to pick Ymir. That's kind of funny. I was about to pick the Ymir. I'm not picking it now. Dude, I don't actually know what to pick here. I'm picking the Hades. Screw it. I'm picking the Hades. It's been a little while, but I want something where I can interrupt brutalize. Because I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna be against Fimra here. Just feel like the face punch. Yeah. Yeah, I was just in the mindset of I need to win against Fenrir early, and the first thought is Ymir in that sense. When he brutalizes, just freeze him and kill him. I have a feeling though, face punch is definitely good early, but you're gonna have a tough time if we hit late game with face punch Ymir against that team comp. That's not gonna be fun. Hades. I am actually kind of a fan of Sundra and Hades, because you have such shit clear on Hades early game that I feel like he almost needs it. His clear is terrible for buffs at level 1. It's actually one of the worst in the game right now. Which is mind-blowing to me, considering Hades from Smite 1. Yeah, I think he'll be alright. He was in fact not fine.
Have fun. Have fun. Good luck. Minions.
The wait for the buffs is so long in Smite 2. You thought it was long in Smite 1? Well, let me tell you. It's longer in Smite 2. We heard you loved waiting for buffs. We have increased the timer for buff spawning. Still missed the creep. Bad. Bad and not good. Bro, kill the creep, thank you.
Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
Oh, my soul is missing. This is generally not a good sign. It's Susano. Oh, he did both buffs. That's why it was missing. Red buff will definitely be a little bit annoying, but it should be fine.
Attack!
It's kind of funny. We talked about the Susano solo earlier, and how I never meet it.
An enemy has been slain.
I'm glad I hit level 3, because I'm pretty sure I would have been dead otherwise. My fear missed, somehow. But yeah, he's not bad. Susano is actually not bad. He's playing it like he should. I can't believe my fear missed, though.
Under attack.
Actually soloed. Washed. But yeah, this is also not a good matchup for Hades early.
An ally has been slain. Right tower under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been
I don't have the damage to turn on him. That's my biggest problem on Hades.
An ally has been
Once I have ult though, I should be in a good spot.
I'll attack.
Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain. Enemy missile left.
My god, these are tanky.
I'll attack.
Enemy missing left. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Let's actually finish something here. I'm a bit more willing to fight him now, because if he ever threes in on me, I will simply just ult. And if he dashes away, I will follow. What does he have? He does have Blink, so he will definitely be able to get out at least once, as long as he's got Blink up.
An enemy has been slain. Enemy missing left. Your right tower is under attack.
I do have a horned minions coming in here.
On my way. Attack.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Attack the gold fury.
He's taking both blue and red, that's funny.
Apologies.
I think he survives. Pots heal so much, dude.
I'll attack left lane.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Who said I'll attack left?
Attack right tower.
I was baited by Vives for some reason. I went in because I heard someone said attack. Well, sad. I'll kill him when my ult's back up though. Damn you, Vives! No, it's not really full on Vives either. I thought I could fight him, but dude, Pots heals so much. He's got Chalice, that's why he still had Pots. I was like, who buys Pots after the first one? Or the first few? He has Chalice. And I will actually, the thing is, Chalice is great. It's very good, but it's currently bugged. The third one doesn't count. And that's the reason why I'm not buying it. At least that's what I saw from Lobster's thread. I didn't know it was until Lobster said it.
Right lane.
Enemy missing left. I've slain an enemy. I'm just getting warmed up.
There we go.
Enemy missing middle. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Your team. Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
The instant cast dash is still getting me. I'm not used to it.
An enemy has been slain.
And I don't really like it either. You might ask, why the fuck are you still doing it then? Well, it's because it's fucking bugging out for me, alright? It bugs out for me all the time. And so it keeps swapping between normal cast and instant cast. So I just always have an instant cast because that seems to fix the problem. So what I can do is try again.
Destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Normal. It crashed my game. I'm not touching these settings anymore. You sneeze in the wrong direction and this game fucking crashes. I don't even know why. I might have to reinstall my Smite 2. It feels like it's crashing more than ever. My dash is back to instant cast. It's fine. That's instant, that's instant. Okay, I'm assuming my ult is too. I'll just keep it that way, because apparently the world gets destroyed if I don't have my Hades dash on instant cast. I'm not changing anything.
I will be right back.
When does the buff spawn? In the forever 36 seconds.
Attack the
Also, am I glitched? Yes, a little bit. But it's fine. Because my dash is an instant cast.
On my way.
enemy missing left. Cancel that. Slain an enemy. I'm just getting warmed up.
It's fine. We got him again. Yeah, I have enough damage now for it to not be a problem anymore.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Attack middle lane. Ultimate is ready.
An enemy has been slain.
Team's just out here enjoying themselves, killing everyone. That's great.
Beware the shifting sand.
Damn, we suck.
An enemy has been slain. Be right back. An enemy has been slain.
I mean, I definitely suck. I shouldn't have dashed on the spot, but I did. I thought he was gonna die. Oh man, it reset my settings here. Auto skill is on too, that's great. Just in this game alone, I've had to do my settings twice. Should have silenced the dog. Yeah, I should have. I could have played that whole scenario like a lot better. I just thought he was dead. Like a level 9 Fenrir into a level 15 Jingwei, I kind of just thought he was gonna die instantly, to be honest.
Attack the fire giant. Wait. Yes. On my way.
An enemy has been slain.
We're not doing fire.
An enemy has been slain.
Now we're doing mid.
Beware the shifting sand. Your left tower is under attack.
I still have the Naga buff, so maybe we should just do this. Let them tank it. Oh. When is it spawning?
Hi. Ha ha ha!
Oh, in 20 seconds? Dude, that's so... Dude, my buff's running out in 16 seconds!
Your left tower has been destroyed.
The world hates me. Even I can't even get small wins. What is it, a master emote? Dude, did they also steal fire? Everything went wrong here. They stole fire and we lost 3 people. And I missed my 2 autos for the Kukulkan. This is not my game. It's good that this is gonna be my last. I'm not playing like a human anymore.
On my way.
I think I have to try and log in.
Your left phoenix is under attack.
Just for like a minute. So I can do just one decent thing in this whole game. I have Poly now. Now I'm logging in.
Your team has destroyed the right enemy tower.
Dude, I'm the only one with... Wait, no. Wait, dude. We have 3 Sunders. How did we not get it? I mean, I'm the only one who had it up, I guess. I didn't even know that.
On my way.
He's surviving. He's gaming. He's gonna kill all of them.
An enemy has been slain.
Attack the Titan.
I can't chase him, man.
Has destroyed the gold fury. An ally has been
He's
slain.
still just missing. Why am I chasing him?
An enemy has been slain.
I'm 2-3-1. I couldn't have been more useless this game. But it's okay, because I will be here for this once my dash is up, for sure. Hey, my Sunder got Odin! Yay! I got him! I did it! Why me? Why not any of the others? Look at the Ares HP! Why me? I'm gonna end negative. Yeah, I'll hit you up if you're doing casuals, Benji. I'll probably do a few casuals at some point later. But yeah, I can feel myself losing focus because I'm just hungry. Yeah. I can do one last, I guess. Yeah, in terms of time, I can do one more. Only one more, though. Yeah, I need the Mordred rank 10. I think I'm only rank 7. Like, I'm still so far away for the Mordred rank 10. But yeah, I I do need to just spam a few games of Mordred. It just feels like you get no worshippers. But I think partly because of that is because you don't have like boosters and double weekends and shit like that like you had in Smite 1. Technically the booster is the Ascension Pass now, but I still feel you get fucking nothing. I can go for like 21-0, like, and I'm gonna get like 5 worshippers. It's very unsatisfying in that sense. I'm pretty sure it happened recently too on Mordred. Actually, no, never mind. I think it was in where the history stuff was bugged. It's somewhere in here. I had a really big Mordred game. Ah, okay. You guys done? Vives? You guys done? It's time-based, I think. It wasn't only time-based in Smite, at least. Don't leave us. I mean, it's my last game because I've been going for a while now. And I started later than I wanted to. We can do... I still want to do one last. Ragnar's leaving? Fair enough. Fair enough. Do we have anyone else who wants to join? Or, are you leaving as well, Sir Yeto? Or are you just saying goodbye? If you still want to play Vives, we can see if we can find another one. Alright, I'll just queue us for now. I'll queue us. And then I just have to log in from my last game. I don't want to end up losing. I can't get soloed. I thought we were leaving. Yeah, I thought so too. It's fine. We're not leaving just yet. This is the last game. Because I'm unsatisfied with the last one, so now this is the last one. And it kind of just fits me better, this. Because then I can go walk the dog early after this. Make some dinner and just relax. Don't forget to get your rolls quickly, boys. Now we have 2 randos. Neither Jingwei. I will try to get them. Well, now Jingwei is banned, yeah, but he wasn't. She wasn't before. I'll get you the Neath. And we'll see what they pick. I'm thinking, dude. I'm legitimately I am legitimately tired of the current solos. I don't know what to pick anymore. That does seem to be a Bacchus solo though. Like, what do you pick against Bacchus, man? Because it's kind of like you pick nothing. Actually, I wanted Ymir. What's even open that is solo? I'm not picking a squishy, that's for sure, because Bacchus will destroy that. I need something with clear. Sol. True. Get me Bellona. Get me the Bellona. The Belloni? Unironic Bellona time. And maybe you're thinking, actually, Bacchus is pretty good against Bellona. And I would simply say you're right. But I just feel like playing Bellona. Bacchus shits on Bellona, actually. Should we have normally picked the soul to deny them? Yes. Yes, we should have. But I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be able to play the game? Probably not. I think you're gonna have a pretty bad time if these guys are good. You're Neath though, so you just kill everything late game. Don't worry about it. You can do it. I will try. I'll try. We'll see how it goes. I don't actually know what you build on Bellona in Smite 2. I could try and just recreate her Smite 1 build, but I don't really see anyone, and I mean literally no one, actually builds Kins. Because you could just try if you think about it, it should work, right? You can build almost full tank, and you just have Kins and maybe like one other attack speed item, and you should be able to kill anything, right? Because you're so tanky with that many items. I might give it a shot. I definitely need Blink, I think. I'm doing Sunder. Screw it. Sonda. And Warrior's Axe sucks, so I think I'll do Death Toll on Bellona. Could do Bluestone as well, I guess. For wave clear, but I don't think I need it, yeah. I'll Death Toll for some sustain. I could do first item tag of Frenzy. That might be kind of nice. Yeah, I'll do that. The Dagger of Frenzy. How am I... Everything's an instant. Except for my ult. Good. Let's see if this pig is worthy of 10 squads. I mean, it definitely... I guess it depends on which one is the positive one, but Bellona sucks. That's what we can all agree on. Bellona is terrible. But it might work out. It might work out here. You like Bellona? I mean, I also like Bellona. It's just it's just so clunky to play. She still doesn't feel good. She's vastly inferior to her Smite 1 version, where some gods in Smite 2 I would argue someone like Ymir feels better than his Smite 1 version. Bellona is not one of those cases. She still doesn't feel that good. I never see her at all. There's Susanoo is invading. Nice. And I went Sunder for no reason, because I'm stupid and I forgot to use it. That being said...
Your middle tower is under attack.
I just lost my hammer stance. Speaking of clunky, I used my 2 and I just went to sword. Not this time. I guess it ran out. Yeah, I think it glitched out. Hammer ran out at the same time as I used the 2, I guess, so it just didn't register that I had refreshed it. Is my best guess. Something like that. Also, damn, my eyes are getting strained. It's gotten a bit darker outside. I need to turn on some light. Much better. A 100 auto though? Damn, that's kind of big. A 100 auto at level 3? Bellona actually kind of broken.
An enemy has been slain.
Also, from what I can tell,
I'll gank right lane. Attack.
he's building damage. This Bacchus is not actually gonna be going for full tank. I think we'll be fine this game. If Bacchus builds squishy, he's dead. He's still gonna hurt, for sure. But Bacchus right now is broken because you don't need to go damage. To do as much damage as he does.
An enemy has been slain.
Hit me.
He actually just jumped again. This man is ballsy for jumping in front of me like that.
Your left tower is under attack.
Yeah, we're a 3-man. We definitely could. I mean, so far I can't tell if any one of them are able to, or will be able to carry this game, so I think we'll be alright. But yeah, I mean, we could be against anything in terms of the MMR.
Right.
Bellona at least still has very good clear, so that's nice. If he actually backs, I could probably go for tower. If he doesn't back, and he doesn't hit 5 at least, I will kill him under tower if he doesn't hit 5. First. Probably just go on him if he jumps. It's the only thing.
I'm not so easily defeated.
I'm probably dead. If I'm not dead, I would be very surprised. I'm very surprised. Can you feel my surprise? Yes. I am not surprised, actually. He would die if he dove me. Ow. I just had to juke the jump. I tried to bait it out and then he jumped earlier than I expected. There's also an Ares here. They are now fighting back. You're also surprised? Yeah, I understand. Oh. See if he's laser backing. Where is he? Not here. Stop. What do you want from me? Also something people haven't talked about much. Bellona's 3 healing is very good. Unless you're getting hit at the same time, then it's kind of bad actually. But she heals a lot more than my 1. Because it's on every hit now. At least it feels more, it might not be. I missed. I'm dead. Because I missed.
That was a good fight.
He sundered me!
To the death.
I missed my ult. And right before I could finish Shoguns as well. This is terrible. I need to start locking in. I can't play serious right now. It's less? Well, I mean it's less comparatively to Smite 1, right? Because it was like 40 or something if you leveled it up. Does it get... No, it doesn't heal more than when you level it up. How the queues going? The queues are alright. I'm playing bad right now. Because I'm getting a bit tired and I'm hungry. So I can't focus. But it's been fine. I had one bad game today I'm very unsatisfied with, because I played like shit. And went up losing because of a bad call I made. It was an overall good game though. It was fun enough.
An ally has been slain.
Middle lane.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Hit me.
Dude, Bellona's 1 still feels terrible.
I'm not so easily defeated.
It is actually kind of saddening me how badly Bellona 1 feels. It's so clunky feeling. It's still the worst part of her kit. Keep going on this. Get berserkers. Right.
Middle lane.
I'm locking in now.
Middle lane.
Actually kind of tryharding for a little bit here. I don't want to end up losing on my last game here. I'm gonna yoink red buff. Had a 7 loss streak? Damn. That is a big loss streak in Smite 2. Was it only solo queue? Dude, the 1 is so glitchy. Oh my god. Why are you here? Stop! I mean, I'm dead. And I couldn't have done anything about it.
To the death. Enemy to the left lane.
I actually could not have stopped that from happening. Because my ult wasn't up yet. I think.
An ally has been slain.
You locked Fun Gods, so kind of your fault, yeah. Oh, the Bacchus is the highest level on their team? Okay. Oh, he is building protection now. Weird. I guess Conduit Gem is potentially the best thing you can go with. I'm gonna start rotating a bit more too. Because this is getting not good. This is very much getting not good. Playing comp? Depends on when you mean.
Enemy middle
you're talking about the upcoming tournament, then I don't know.
In the left jungle.
Aw, that sucks. I used my 2.
Enemies incoming left.
Bit early for that.
Now is the hour.
Destroyed a right enemy tower. An ally has been slain.
He's alone now. We just gotta kill him now.
Slain an enemy.
Retreat.
Oops. Yeah, we just get out. I should have just kept running. I shouldn't have tried to peel. That was a terrible fight for us to take. Damn it. I do feel so squishy though. Starting with the Dagger Frenzy definitely made me a lot more squishy. Good wall. Yeah, the Vega stuff. Yeah, at the moment I don't know. Like I do have a few people that I play with, but I still think they're kind of trying out a few different things. Damn, Fenris stayed with that HP. Oh no.
Has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Oh no. But this is a pretty good depiction of what I mean when Fenris opens, Susano is shit. It's so easy for Fenrir. Bellona also really needs a Frostbound, I feel like. There's not really a Frostbound in the game, making everything a bit awkward for her.
Be careful left. Enemies behind us.
I'm getting into some of this smoke.
That was a good fight. Too good.
Killed something and right. We gotta get something, man. We gotta get something. How do I have 3 people on me? It's not looking good. 2 of them are so low too.
Has been slain.
Restaring, can you play around me? I think we need to. I don't think we can rely on the duo lane. Bacchus is incredibly easy to kill. He jumps every single wave. And Ares is always here too. Who we can also kill, but we need to be more careful around Ares.
Hit me.
Like I'm getting to the point where I can definitely kill them somewhat easily, but not if I'm alone. Yeah, don't worry about Ymir. Ymir is not able. He's just not really doing anything really. Can't rely on it. Just gotta focus on ourselves. And we definitely gotta start killing Bacchus when he jumps every wave. And he's not easy to kill anymore because of how tanky he's becoming. But when he jumps, we should be able to just kill him. We should have done it earlier. Like I should have just said it. But it is getting slightly frustrating that dude, Ares is actually just always here. It is insane. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I should have gone on Kukulkan instead. I just didn't think he was gonna... I actually thought Sayeto was gonna have him. And I think our Honor got soloed, so I'm gonna go defend right. Before Sol kills everything over there. Is Devos good on her? I tried it, but it felt really weird and not good. It didn't feel good. I'll admit. I only tried it once though.
Your left tower. Your middle tower is under attack.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's so unfortunate. Sol shouldn't be a problem later though. I think I can deal with Sol by myself when I have to dive. The big question is, what do I build though? I'm very tempted to do a hastened, because otherwise I can't keep up. I'm gonna try it and then hope for the best. I might end up being too squishy for this. We will see. Yeah, our duo is Amber. We'll just have to play around. Well, I guess play knowing that fact. They do have a very scary comp.
Enemies in middle lane.
On my way. On my way.
Ultimate
Your
is ready.
team has destroyed a left tower.
Where did he go? There he is. Dude, did you see the block damage? They actually can't fight me with that much attack speed, because the block damage will explode so often when I'm in my one stance. That's kind of funny. Do I smell some tech? Let's see if we can burst it.
No problem.
Yes.
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Drop it.
Speaking of Devos though, I think I could try leveling my 3 first and then also start with Devos. To see how, if that would be any better. That could be interesting to try out. I just don't think... It doesn't really scale off of... Like, the thing is, with Fenrir, Brutalize is super good, because Fenrir has built-in lifesteal. The 3 on Bellona doesn't really count as lifesteal, unfortunately, so... It's not the same. She wouldn't benefit as the healing as much. Alright, I'm back in for Fatals. Stop! Stop double pressing. The double press, man. It's tilting me. Bellona might find more value once a lot more auto attackers are on the table. Dude, why did you have to grab me mid-air like that, huh?
Slain an enemy. Rampage.
I'll yoink it.
Double kill. You have slain an enemy.
Attack middle tower.
Successfully yoinked.
Attack the Titan!
Okay.
He doesn't even have an ult, so. Alright. We pulled it together. We did it. Well done, team. Well done. Alright. That will be it for me for now. I'm gonna go relax. I'm gonna go buy the new Astrobot game. And then I will chill tonight. I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like a great Saturday night for me. I've reached 4K. Yay! Alright. Getting closer. Yeah, GG's, Ryoto. GG's. And GG Notebook / Risterian. As well as for Vives and Ragnar earlier. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Alright. And thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And Saturday night without... Dude, I never stream Saturday night. What are you talking about, Bungus? I'm never here anyway. Just go to my YouTube channel, watch an old VOD. Thank you. Shameless plug. Even though, who else would do it? Feel free to check out my YouTube. There's all my old VODs and shit, and like the Wukong playthrough, the Elden Ring DLC playthroughs on there. Feel free to check that out if you're interested in older stuff. When Ari just got here, well, you should have been here earlier, man. What can I tell you? No, but thank you for showing up at least. I appreciate it. This personal, isn't it? Yes. I hate you, Winari. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye.